Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Same Landing Page. In this episode, we're going to go back a little bit to predictions we made about marketing back in 2022 and also look at maybe what's going to happen for marketers with real life examples going into the 2024. So what happens when you ask artificial intelligence to predict the future of marketing? Well, every time you refresh Twitter, there seems to be a new artificial intelligence model. And whether that's ChatGPT, AutoGPT, or Google's Bards, there's so many out there, all fighting for that position as the next Google. So perhaps we should start about how marketers now begin a piece of research or content by asking AI. And I asked Bard and ChatGPT what the future of marketing looks like. And the following answers were consistent results on both. So firstly, personalization of messaging and targeting utilizing new technologies was consistent on both answers. They also both believed that augmented reality and virtual reality would be used increasingly as part of a customer experience. And finally, they both agreed that continued reliance on content marketing would be a part of the marketer's arsenal in the future. But other notable mentions that Bard missed were there is an increased use of video happening amongst us. So we've been talking about it for years, it seems now, and it's really coming to fruition. ChatGPT also picked up, where Bard didn't, that there would be stricter regulations over data controls, which is something I think all marketers can attest to. And finally, even more sustainability and ethical marketing. It feels like you can't buy something without it telling you it's ecological or sustainable, even though the whole thing's made out of plastic and was shipped here from China most of the time. So most of the artificial intelligence that we're using at the moment is just language learning. So how much we take from this, I don't know. I think it's better to go back to January 2022, where we spoke to an expert of marketing, Sarah from 11 Marketing, about her perspective on future trends and see where we're at now. So Sarah shared real examples of the emergence of new technologies like virtual reality.
But we work, for example, with loads of universities, and they have been quite interested, like steadily interested in things like virtual open days, and how they can kind of like capture their campus and like the life of their campus like online. So we've done lots of things like 360 online tours and things like that, so people can try and get like quite like a realistic experience of what the campus is like without actually having to travel there, which is really convenient for a lot of people, especially if you're international, which is pretty cool. And then another one of our clients, kind of different kind of ilk, but public sector, this is Network Rail. Every year they need to attract like a load of like graduates and apprentices. It's kind of like an ongoing, like needing more people for certain skill areas sort of thing. And we work with them all the time to do this kind of like graduate recruitment activity. But one of our like last suggestions for them was using like an actual VR experience like at their exhibition stand, so people could like test out. It was really cool. They could like test out what like they might do in different careers at Network Rail. So it might be like operating a really busy signal box and stuff like that. And it sounds quite simple, but there were like massive queues at the exhibitions. Like it was really, really popular. So it worked really well. They're still using it now, which is awesome.
Now, the metaverse and other similar alternative realities became a bit of a buzzword in 2021. This popularity seems to have slowed down recently in terms of common virtual reality examples being used by business. We've seen emerging technologies follow this popularity pattern, similar to how waves crash and rise and recede. So maybe it won't be many years before we have more real-life examples of VR and augmented reality in business. But in addition to virtual reality, video was noted as being a crucial part of the everyday marketer's focus.
Well, I think that's one of the trends that are definitely in my sector we're going to see, as well as not virtual reality, not that sophisticated in terms of ads yet, but video is definitely on the up. More and more clients are coming to us asking to integrate video, and already Google this year has rolled out new advertising campaign styles which are focused on video. you can't run certain campaign types without a video now. And I think that's going to be an enormous thing this year, because there's this massive push for multimedia at the moment. I don't know if you guys have experienced that as well, or just seen a pickup in that, but even 2 weeks back into the working year, I think I've had 3 clients who've been pushing for video already.
Yeah, that's massive for us, like huge. We've got an in-house animator, and I think we've kind of noticed like progressively that time is just so kind of in demand. Like he's like got to be like the busiest person, like so many requests coming in with that, because it's what all of our clients want. And I think, you know, it's obviously what audiences are looking for. So people are just naturally responding to that, aren't they, really, and giving them what they want to see.
Now, as we've seen in the last year, video has not just been a huge differentiating factor for paid advertising campaigns, it has become a huge part of the newest and cheapest channel to advertise on, TikTok. Here's what we said about TikTok a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are on TikTok, aren't we? There's now like TikTok influencers with absolutely no prior experience of video creation, videography, nothing at all. And they're now being paid like 6 figures for like these crazy collaborations because their stuff is obviously so funny or so engaging that people tune in like day after day to see it. It's kind of like the whole thing's like really shifted, which is really interesting.
Sarah, you target who's like your target audience in terms of different organizations, and do you think that you'll ever need to create content for them in terms of TikTok videos? Do you think that's going to happen? Have you had that conversation internally?
We had this conversation a lot. Like a lot of people ask us, like, should we be on TikTok, or we'd like to do a campaign, can we use TikTok? And I think when something becomes big and when it becomes really talked about and really popular, everyone wants like a piece of the cake. They're like, oh, that's really exciting. Like we should be on TikTok. That's really fun. Whereas I think 9 times out of 10, you really, 10 times out of 10, you need to really consider the channels that you're using. But TikTok is so specific, you know, for a lot of our clients, we've got like public sector clients, sort of local government, things like that, where TikTok is so unlikely to be like a relevant space for them. It's probably not where they need to be to talk to people, you know. Even if they did like hop on a trend and do like a viral video of them doing like a little dance routine, it'd be great, it'd be really funny, but it wouldn't have the desired effects. Like no one would, you know, remember them for the right reasons. So a lot of conversations we have with clients is to be like, yes, we love TikTok, it's great, it can be really, really fun, but we don't want to be using channels just because they're popular and just because everyone's on them and talking about them. It has to be relevant for what you're looking at, I think. And that's always challenging.
Yeah, a lot of your clients cover quite serious issues as well, right? So it's quite hard to turn that into something that's fitting for TikTok as well. So
that's such a good point you make, though, because for kind of business owners or managers or whoever it is that's asking these questions, we get the same thing saying, everyone's on TikTok, should we be on TikTok? But that point of, is your specific audience on TikTok, and can we reach them? Can we make that little Venn diagram just around your audience? That's probably the question you should ask immediately afterwards if you're considering it.
So how has this changed? Here's some statistics on TikTok. It's not just a platform for teens anymore. Gen Z only makes up 42% of the audience, which still leaves over half of the audience to be made up by people ages 25 and above. TikTok recently surpassed 1 billion users, and 35% of TikTok users use TikTok to follow and research brand accounts. Approximately 225,000 recognizable brands use TikTok for their influencer marketing campaigns. And finally, TikTok offers an opportunity for smaller business and individual users to go viral and get their message across in a domain usually dominated by influencers with a large following. It's similar to how Facebook and Instagram started. You could put organic social posts up and you didn't have to do too much for it to get some attention. That's no longer the case. And if for you to get any kind of impressions as a business, you need to pay them. Well, with TikTok, you can still get impressions. You can still make good posts, entertaining posts that will be pushed, and you won't get held back just because you're a brand. So to test the effectiveness of TikTok as an emerging channel, at Web Presence, we experimented with a simple talking head video. It explained how we can help charities apply for and manage Google Ads grants. So far, it has outperformed Google Ads and Bing to generate 45 new leads after 2 weeks of a campaign at a cost per click of £2. and a cost per lead of £31. So what can you be utilizing as a marketer to get the most out of your budget in 2024? 1. Bring your content to life with video and experiment on TikTok. Many companies are experimenting even just by using image and video ads on TikTok first, and then posting them on the more expensive channels like Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn and YouTube when they know what fits. It's a test bed, and as long as you're safe and professional, you can't really go wrong. The number of impressions you get might surprise you. Second, utilize AI like ChatGPT and Bard for the beginning of your work, but be aware it's a language tool, not a thinking tool yet. It's great for 10 content ideas and stopping that blank page syndrome, but it's risky in terms of your search engine results to ask it to write content. Even if you have a handy AI copywriter tool, it's going to hurt your search engine results if you include content on there. Third and final, content is still king and should remain your focus. It feels like everyone is an influencer these days. It's because of how much potential you have to generate interest in your service if your content is interesting and helpful for your audience. Thank you for joining this short On the Same Landing Page episode. We'll see you next time.